Right, once you've got a completed hexagon, you're going to turn it from this into this with this pretty sort of daisy pattern surface crochet. And I'm just going to show you some pointers for that as well. So you're going to use the cream cotton for that. In your book, it's going to say blue or ice blue charming, I think. I can't remember, but it's going to be the cream. And what surface crochet is literally what its name suggests. It's putting a pattern on the top of a piece that you've already crocheted. If I show you this that I've already done, if you look on the back, you've just got these little dashes where the stitches have been worked from the back to the front. So let's actually see how it's done rather than sort of talk about it. It's easier, isn't it, to learn by looking, I think. Right, so you will note in the pattern that we're going to start this by putting the hook at the base of any 2 stitches. I can't remember if she says 2 stitches or increase, but what she means is if you look here where my hook is, you can see this is one of the places where we did an increase from the previous round. So some of the stitches are single stitches, this one and this one, but this one's got 2 stitches going into it, and that is where I'm going to put my hook. And I'm going to put my hook from the front of the hexagon, just poke it through at the base of those 2 stitches, poke it through from the front to the back. So it's coming through from the front to the back. And I'm just going to pick up a loop of that yarn and pull it through. Okay, so again, just pulling it through from the back to the front. And you can see I've just got a little loop of the cream yarn there. I'm now going to put the hook, again following the pattern, into the stitch next to it. So again, from the front side of the crochet, pushing it through to the back, and pick up another loop of yarn and pull it through. And obviously you need to make sure you're picking up the working yarn and not the tail. Just make that tail a little shorter. So I'm just going to pick up the working yarn, bring it through to the front. I've now got 2 loops on my hook, and I'm going to bring that loop through the first loop. So it's created this little slip stitch, on the surface of the crochet. And now we're ready to go. And what we're going to do is we're going to work from the base. We're here now, and we're going to work this chain going up here. So 5 little chains working up the side of the work. I have found it helpful to actually turn my hexagon into the direction that I'm going to be working. It makes it easier to see where my hook is going to fall. And if I just take my hook out just to sort of point for you, you will see this sort of line here, 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 and here. Can you see the indents where the stitches are? And that's the line I'm going to follow with my hook. And it's quite a natural place for the hook to go. If you try and sort of put it anywhere else, there's resistance and it won't go through. So it's sort of up 1 row and to the right of where your stitch is now. Up 1 and slightly to the right. And that hook will go through quite easily when I put it from front to back. And again, I'm just picking up the working yarn, pulling it through to the front and pulling it through the loop that's already there as a slip stitch. So that's 1. And again, my hook head will go naturally to the row above and the hole just to the right of where I am now, and go through, pick up the yarn, pull it through. That is 2. And then I'm going through to the next one, pulling through, that's 3, and the next one. And it is a natural, like I said, the line that you're following is a natural line of the rows that you've worked. It will fall quite naturally. Now, please don't worry if you have to have a few attempts at this. I certainly did. And sometimes I get it right and sometimes I don't. And it isn't a problem. You've got loads of time to practice with this if this is the first time you've done it. It does take a little while to get the stitches even and to get them, positioned where you need to. But once you've kind of worked out where that is, you will fly along them. Right, so I've got to the top of the flower, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is my 5th this is the 5th chain here, which will kind of be planted, if you like, when we start going across the top. Across the top of the petal. Now the top of the petal is easy because you're just sort of hopping along between stitches in their normal placement, if that makes sense. So if I go through and do my last sort of anchoring point for that side there, and I'm just going to make 5 chain going across this row of crochet, same as before, front to back, pulling through and pulling the loop through. That's 2 and 3. Okay, and you're going to carry on like this throughout, really. So now I'm coming back down. I'm going to turn the work so that I'm always sort of working in a natural crochet way, sort of from right to left. And I'm going to bring that slant back down because I want to end up in the stitch I started with. Okay, so again, just to the left, going through and just following always slightly to the left, to hook always slightly to the left as you work along the stitched rows, 3, and you will find, I know I keep saying it, but you will find your hook falls naturally to create that lovely pattern. Now on my 5th chain for this side, I'm going, as I said, into the stitch where I started, and I'm going to finish off like so. So I've created 1 petal. Now the next part is so important, and I had to read and do this loads of times to get this ready, so I just wanted to get to this point to explain quite explicitly that what you are now going to do is take 1 step to the left, so do 1 stitch to the left to finish that repeat. That is your repeat now finished, that taking that last stitch to the left. And to start the next repeat, you're taking another stitch to the left. All right, so at the end of each petal there are actually 2 chains before you start the next one. If you don't do it like that, you're going to overcrowd and end up with far too many petals. So you're now ready to start again, and you're just going to repeat exactly what we've just done, and you're going to do that 6 times until you've got that really lovely petal sort of daisy effect, isn't it? I'm going to finish them up because I want to then just show you how to make the last chain, again sort of a false last stitch, if you like, with your needle. So I'll finish it up and I'll show you that at the end. Okay, I'm coming down the last side of the petal, last side of the last petal, and I am putting the stitch at the base of the petal into the same stitch that I started with, and I'm going to stop there and take my hook out and show you how to finish that with a needle. So again, just cut a smallish tail and get your darning needle ready. I'm going to pull that end all the way through, thread my needle, and again create this sort of false stitch using the needle. So if I pull the yarn down like that, you'll see that I've created that lovely last chain, and all I'm going to do is take my needle and pass it under the 2 legs of the very first chain we made. Okay, pull it not too tight, then take my needle and go straight back in where the yarn was coming out and pull it like that, and you'll see that's created the last chain that we need for that pattern. Okay, then I'm just going to fasten off. I'll do that in a moment, and you will see that it's created our beautiful surface flower or daisy pattern.